Imagine being locked in a tiny box, 24/7, with no way out. Now, imagine you have a plan, a crazy, insane, impossible plan to escape. Today, we're going to watch 10 people who did exactly that, and their entire escape was caught on camera. Everything you are about to see is real footage. These aren't movie scenes, this is real life. We're talking about inmates digging tunnels for months, helicopters swooping into prison yards, people literally walking out the front gate dressed as guards. It's absolutely unbelievable what the human mind can come up with when freedom is on the line. I have spent weeks collecting the most insane, mind-blowing prison escape footage ever recorded. From a dude sprinting across rooftops like a superhero, to a full-blown riot designed as a distraction. Every single clip you're about to see is 100% real. The security guards watching these monitors couldn't believe their eyes, and honestly, neither could I. We're going to break down every escape, second by second, and see exactly how they pulled it off, or how they almost did. Before we start, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because you are not going to want to miss this. This is some of the craziest footage I have ever seen in my entire life, and I watch a lot of crazy videos. Are you ready? Let's roll the first clip. This is going to be insane. Alright, kicking things off is one of the most athletic and straight-up riskiest escapes you will ever see. This isn't a carefully planned tunnel, this is pure desperation and adrenaline. The footage opens on a standard prison rooftop, a place inmates are only supposed to access under heavy supervision for maintenance. But this guy, he found a way. We see him suddenly burst into frame, already on the roof, having somehow bypassed multiple layers of security just to get to this point. You can see the sheer panic and determination on his face even in the grainy footage. He's not just wandering around up there, he has a destination. He starts sprinting, and I mean full-on Olympic-level sprinting, across the flat surface of the roof. The camera operator is clearly scrambling to keep up with him, the lens shaking as it pans. Guards on the ground would have been alerted by now, alarms blaring, but up here, he's in his own world. He's running towards the edge of the building, and for a second you think he might just jump. He's not aiming for the ground, he's aiming for the next building. There's a gap, probably 15 or 20 feet wide, separating the prison block from an adjacent administrative building. But without a single moment of hesitation, he launches himself across the gap. It's a heart-stopping moment. The camera captures him mid-air, a silhouette against the sky. He's literally flying, his arms and legs flailing as he soars over the alleyway below. You hold your breath, convinced he's not going to make it. He lands hard on the other roof, stumbling but miraculously staying on his feet. The impact must have been brutal, but the adrenaline is clearly pushing him through the pain. He doesn't even pause to catch his breath. He just keeps running. Now he's on a non-prison building, which is a whole new level of problem for the authorities. He's navigating air conditioning units and vents, a maze of industrial equipment, as he makes his way to the far side of this new rooftop. From there, the footage shows him scrambling down a fire escape on the other side of that second building. By the time the guards on the ground could even figure out where he was, he had dropped into a public street and vanished into the crowd. The sheer audacity of this escape is what makes it number one on our list of athletic feats. He turned the prison itself into his own personal parkour course, and for a brief, shining moment, it actually worked. The guards were left staring at an empty rooftop, completely stunned. If the last escape was all about speed and adrenaline, this next one is the complete opposite. This is about patience, planning, getting your hands dirty, really, really dirty. The clip starts with an unassuming shot of a drainage ditch just outside the prison's perimeter fence. It's overgrown with weeds, littered with trash, the last place you'd expect anything. For several minutes the camera records nothing. Boring, uneventful surveillance. On the den. Till it isn't. Slowly, and I mean slowly, a manhole cover in the middle of the ditch begins to move. It doesn't fly open, it just scrapes and grinds as it's pushed from below. The effort is visible even in the jerky movement of the heavy iron lid. It's pushed aside, a hand covered in filth emerges, a head emerges, shoulders emerge. An inmate covered head to toe in mud and sewage pulls himself out of the tunnel. It's like a scene straight out of a horror movie, or the Shawshank Redemption. He doesn't celebrate. He doesn't even look around. He immediately drops flat into the tall grass, his filthy clothes providing the perfect camouflage. And then, another one comes. A second inmate emerges from the same hole, just as filthy, and joins his partner in the weeds. The level of coordination is incredible. They must have spent months, if not years, digging this tunnel, timing their escape perfectly to coincide with a moment of low surveillance on this specific camera. Every movement is deliberate and quiet. They crawl on their bellies, moving like soldiers through the ditch, heading towards a line of trees in the distance. They know this area. They've studied it from their cells for years, memorizing every dip and bush that could provide cover. The camera, fixed in its position, can only watch as they get further and further away. You can imagine the guard in the control room either being completely distracted or just not believing what they're seeing on one of dozens of monitors. It's a slow-motion getaway. The final shot we have from this camera shows the two inmates reaching the tree line at the edge of the prison property. They give one last look back, not at the prison, but at the camera they probably knew was watching them, before melting into the woods and disappearing completely. The empty manhole, a dark, gaping mouth in the ground, is all that's left as evidence. This escape is a testament to the sheer power of human will and the incredible lengths people will go to for a taste of freedom, even if it means crawling through miles of literal garbage to get there. Okay, this next one is so over the top it feels like it was written for a blockbuster movie. You just don't think this stuff happens in real life, but the security camera footage is right here. We're looking at a wide-angle shot of a prison recreation yard. It's a massive, fenced-in concrete area. There are dozens of inmates out for their daily exercise, playing basketball, walking in circles. It looks like any other day, but then you hear it. A faint chopping sound that gets louder and louder. Suddenly, a helicopter swoops into frame, flying dangerously low over the prison walls. This isn't a police helicopter, it's a civilian aircraft. Chaos erupts in the yard below. Inmates start running everywhere, some scattering in fear, others running towards the helicopter. The guards in the towers are completely caught off guard. You can see them on camera, pointing, scrambling for their radios. The helicopter doesn't land. It hovers just 20 or 30 feet above the ground, kicking up dust and debris. A rope ladder is thrown down from the side. It whips around in the rotor wash. One inmate, waiting near the center, makes a mad dash for the ladder. He grabs the bottom of the swinging ladder. The helicopter immediately begins to ascend. The inmate is dangling hundreds of feet in the air, holding on for dear life. The helicopter banks sharply to get back over the prison walls. You can see guards on the ground pointing their weapons, but they can't risk firing at the aircraft for fear of causing it to crash into the prison or the surrounding neighborhood. The helicopter, with the inmate clinging, flies off into the distance until it's a tiny speck in the sky. The yard below is still in chaos. Remaining inmates are being rounded up by frantic guards. It's absolute pandemonium, leaving an entire prison staff looking up at the sky in disbelief. Chapter 4. This next escape is brilliant because of its simplicity. No helicopters, no tunnels, no death-defying jumps. This is about exploiting the most mundane, everyday part of prison life, the delivery truck. The video opens on the prison's main sally port, the secure area where all vehicles entering and leaving are inspected. We see a large food delivery truck pull in for its routine drop-off. Guards walk around it, check the driver's papers, and wave it through to the loading dock. The truck spends about 20 minutes at the loading dock, which is also under camera surveillance. We see pallets of food being unloaded by a team of inmates assigned to kitchen duty. It's a hive of activity, and it's this very activity that provides the perfect cover. For a few critical seconds, one of the inmates carrying a box disappears behind the truck, out of the camera's direct line of sight. Arrow highlights the moment he disappears. He never reappears on the other side. The truck finishes its delivery. The big rear door is rolled down and locked by a guard, and it pulls away from the loading dock. It heads back towards the main sally port for its exit inspection. Again, the guards do their walk-around. They check the cab. They look at the undercarriage with mirrors. They are following the their procedure to the letter, but their procedure is designed to find people hiding inside the cargo bay, not people hiding somewhere else. They give the truck the all-clear. The massive steel gates of the prison begin to slide open. The truck slowly drives out, and right there, caught by a different camera angle from outside the prison, we see him. The missing inmate isn't in the truck. He's on it. He is clinging to the undercarriage, wedged into a tiny space between the chassis and an axle. It's an impossibly tight squeeze, and he must have been holding on with every ounce of strength he had. The guards were just feet away from him and never saw a thing. The truck drives out of the prison and down the main road. The footage from a public traffic camera a few miles away shows the truck stopping at a red light. The inmate uncurls himself from the undercarriage, drops to the road, and casually walks away, disappearing into a nearby residential area. He used the prison's own supply chain as his personal taxi service. The guards wouldn't even realize he was missing until the next prisoner count, hours later. It's a genius plan that relied on an intimate knowledge of the prison's blind spots. Chapter 5. Get ready for an escape that required incredible strength, nerve, and some serious DIY engineering. This one starts in the dead of night, with a camera overlooking one of the prison's towering outer walls. The wall is at least 30 feet high, topped with razor wire, and looks completely insurmountable. For a long time the frame is still, then a shadow moves. It's two inmates. They're not trying to dig under it, they're going over it. One of them pulls out a makeshift grappling hook, crafted from metal bunk bed parts, and tied to a rope made of braided bed sheets. He swings it a few times and then hurls it upwards. It clatters against the top of the wall a couple of times before it finally catches on the razor wire supports. They test it, pulling with all their weight to make sure it holds. Then, the first inmate begins to climb. It's a brutal, exhausting ascent, hand over hand up the braided sheets. He has to avoid touching the wall itself, which would trigger motion sensors. He reaches the top, carefully navigating the razor wire, and straddles the wall. Now comes the even crazier part. He's not climbing down the other side. Instead, he pulls up another rope from his partner below, attached to an anchor point on the inside wall. He throws it over the wall, where it's designed to snag on a lamppost in the parking lot outside. He has just created a crude zipline. He attaches a wooden handle, takes a deep breath, and launches into the darkness. The camera barely catches his dark shape sliding rapidly over the perimeter fence, landing in the parking lot below. It's a steep drop. He hits hard, but rolls with it. His partner quickly follows. In minutes, two men behind a 30-foot wall are now outside, sprinting into the night. The ingenuity and sheer guts are mind-boggling. Chapter 6. This escape is so smooth, so confident, it's almost comical. It proves that sometimes the best disguise is acting like you belong. The scene is a busy internal checkpoint inside a large prison. It's a corridor with a locked gate operated by a guard in a booth. Inmates on one side, staff and visitors on the other, a strict choke point. Then, walking from the inmate side, is a man in a full guard's uniform. He's got the shirt, the pants, the belt with a fake radio. He even has a clipboard and walks with purpose, like a slightly annoyed guard running late. He doesn't make eye contact or loiter. He nods like a colleague and flashes a fake ID badge he clearly made himself. The booth guard gives a cursory glance, buzzes the gate, and looks back at paperwork. It's that simple. He walks through to the free side. He has to pass several more checkpoints. Other cameras show him striding down corridors, nodding at staff, even holding a door for an administrator. The final camera shows him walking right out the front entrance of the prison administration building, across the visitor lot, and out of view. He didn't run. He didn't hide. He just walked out. Hours later, a head count reveals one inmate short, and the tapes show a guard who left that afternoon never actually existed. It's a masterclass in social engineering. Chapter 7. This next clip is a testament to patience and the power of having the right tool for the job, even if you have to make it yourself. The footage is from a camera inside a cell block, late at night. Dark corridor. If you look closely, a hand emerges through the bars, holding a small, thin object, a hacksaw blade, probably smuggled in piece by piece or attached to a toothbrush handle. He begins to saw at the lock. It's painstaking. Tiny cuts, frequent pauses to listen. The sound is minimal. He even uses cloth to catch metal filings so there's no evidence. Over many nights, the sun rises and sets. This wasn't a one-night job. He's dismantling his cage a millimeter at a time. On the escape night, one final cut, the mechanism gives way. He silently slides his cell door, slips out, frees the neighbor cell, and now two silhouettes move like ghosts. At the end gate, they use a thin metal pick. After tense probing, a faint click. The heavy door opens and they disappear from camera. a silent movie of patience and skill. Chapter 8. Most of these escapes have been about stealth and precision. This one is the exact opposite. This is about creating so much chaos, so much noise and violence, that a few inmates can slip out unnoticed. A fight erupts, then another, and another. Within seconds, it's a full-blown riot. It's not random, it's coordinated. Inmates flip tables, set fires in trash cans, and surround guards who are hopelessly outnumbered. Guards deploy tear gas and form defensive lines. While all attention is on the riot, a small group moves low along the perimeter toward a pre-planned weak point, a service gate. Using a smuggled bolt cutter or a ram made from a bench, they attack the lock. Several inmates form a human wall to block the view, while one or two work. It's brilliant and terrifying teamwork. The gate finally bursts. The group slips through and sprints across an open field as the riot rages behind them. Hours later, after quelling the uprising and doing a head count, authorities realize the whole thing, with dozens of injuries and massive damage, was an elaborate smokescreen, a brutal high-stakes gamble for freedom. Chapter 9. Escaping from a maximum security prison is one thing, but what about in transit, surrounded by guards? Dashcam shows a routine transfer. The van stops at a red light. Then, the back door swings open. A figure in a jumpsuit and handcuffs leaps into traffic. He is the detainee. He somehow picked the lock on his handcuffs and defeated the van's locking mechanism from the inside. The guards are completely stunned. He sprints, weaving between cars. The trailing dashcam captures it all. Officers throw the car in park and leap out to give chase. He already has a head start. He runs like someone facing a long sentence, vaults a taxi hood, and disappears into a crowded sidewalk, then ducks into an alley. By the time officers reach it, he's gone. In broad daylight, surrounded by law enforcement, it's unbelievable. Not digging or climbing, but pure, deceptive skill. Close-ups, picking handcuffs, bypassing a high-security van lock. A modern-day Houdini. From door swing to alley vanish, under 30 seconds. He turned a routine stop into his own get-out-of-jail-free card. Chapter 10. We're ending with one of the most famous and most elaborate prison escapes in modern history, the 2015 Clinton Correctional breakout in Dannemora, New York. This wasn't just caught on camera. The aftermath and scale were documented extensively. First, inside after discovery, a corrections officer doing the morning count, shining a flashlight into a cell. The bunk looks occupied. No response. He opens the cell, revealing a dummy made from sweatshirts with a crudely painted face. The real inmate is gone. Hidden behind a locker, a gaping hole cut into the steel cell wall. This is where the story begins. Next, incredible investigator camera footage crawling the escape route. Richard Matt, David Sweat. They use power tools, smuggled in by a prison employee. The tools cut through cell walls. They navigated a labyrinth of catwalks and narrow tunnels in the prison's bowels. Narrow, dark, terrifying, filled with massive pipes and century-old brickwork. They had to cut through massive steam pipes and brick walls. Months of nightly work. The footage shows it all. They even ran an extension cord to power tools. Final footage. The exit point. They broke through a large steam pipe, crawled through it, and emerged from a manhole on a public street a block away. The open manhole, with a note, "Have a nice day." The escape triggered one of New York's largest manhunts and exposed massive security flaws. 2 men. Some power tools. A plan that seemed impossible. Outro, and there you have it. 10 of the most insane, unbelievable, and daring prison escapes ever caught on camera. From the guy who literally flew out of the prison yard on a helicopter to the 2 men who spent months digging a tunnel right out of Shawshank. It is absolutely mind-blowing what people are capable of when they have nothing to lose and freedom to gain. Each of these stories shows a different kind of genius, athletic ability, engineering skill, pure, shameless audacity. It's crazy to think that every clip we watched was real. Now, almost all of these escapees were eventually caught. The rooftop dasher was found a few blocks away, the helicopter inmate was tracked and arrested, and the Dannemora tunnelers were found after a massive 3-week manhunt. But for minutes, hours, or even weeks, they were free. They beat a system designed to keep them in. Thank you so much for watching. Which escape blew your mind the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. You are not going to want to miss what's next. See you in the next video.